And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Help me to get there. Help me to build this community so big that our voices cannot be drowned out. So hit subscribe, watch, comment. Keep the comments coming, please, and share with your friends. We will build this community. We will get to 500,000. The sooner, of course, the better. Now, I didn't start this show to fearmonger. No. Never my intention to fearmonger on this show. But Stephen Miller said something that it's extremely concerning to me. Because this afternoon, he actually told reporters that he is actively looking at how to suspend what's called writ of habeas corpus. All right? And I want to show you the clip and then remind you how this applies to me and why it is making me so uncomfortable. Play the clip.
Hold on, there's a question back there first.
I have two quick questions. First, President Trump has talked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to take care of the illegal immigration problem. When could we see that happen, do you think?
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article 3 courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Many of you probably don't know this. I'll give you a good example. Are you familiar with the term temporary protected status, or TPS, right? So by statute, the courts are stripped of jurisdiction from overruling a presidential determination or a secretarial determination on TPS when the Secretary of Homeland Security makes that determination. So when Secretary Noem terminated TPS for the illegals that Biden flew into the country, when courts stepped in, they were violating explicit language that Congress had enacted, saying they have no jurisdiction. So it's not just the courts aren't just at war with the executive branch, the courts are at war, these radical rogue judges, with the legislative branch as well too. So all of that will inform the choices the president ultimately makes, yes.
Mr. Miller.
No, Stephen, no. Where you're wrong, you see, you leave out some incredibly important things. For example, the United States has not been invaded. Your definition of invasion is not the same as a legal definition. There is no invasion going on. We are not at war. Now, I want to say, why is this important? I, Michael Cohen, benefited from a writ of habeas corpus. But it's important to know that they aren't often granted. In fact, I was talking to Glenn Kirshner, and he said over his 30 plus years as a prosecutor, he saw thousands and thousands of writs of habeas corpus, maybe a dozen granted. It means that Stephen Miller and Trump are trying to remove all protections that are available in the event that they violate your constitutional right, that they violate your due process rights. There's a bigger problem that's going on here that people don't see. And it's why Stephen Miller wants to get the courts to step away. Because if they do that, it gives them the ability to lock people up indiscriminately, and they would have absolutely no opportunity within which to be released. Like what happened to me. Where Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein turned around and stated that the court finds that respondent's purpose in transferring Cohen from release on furlough and home confinement back to custody was retaliatory. Let me say that again, was retaliatory in response to Cohen desiring to exercise his First Amendment rights to publish a book critical of the president and to discuss the book on social media. Imagine if they can do it for that. You think they can't do it for the illegal protest? You think they can't do it for any reason? They can. And how do we know that they're out of control? Literally moments ago, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, was arrested. No, serious. The mayor of Newark was arrested at a federal immigration detention center. Now, interim U.S. attorney for New Jersey my old friend Alina Haba, was quick to comment. In her comment, she turns around and she says, the mayor of Newark, Ras Baraka, committed trespass and ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove himself from the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey this afternoon. He has willingly chosen to disregard the law. That will not stand in this state. He has been taken into custody. No one is above the law. You know, I got to tell you, I've met Alina many times. I've been on opposite sides, of course, whether it was while she was cross-examining me or whether she was taking depositions and so on. Everyone's entitled to their position. I totally acknowledge that. But remember something. There will come a day that accountability will be had. And I don't understand why, especially now that she's the interim U.S. Attorney General, why they would take it to this degree. He's the mayor of Newark. You're telling me that you have a right within which to arrest him because he was on a property that's actually located within his purview, within his custody and control? I think there's going to be a lot of problems coming out of this, and it's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. It's necessary to them. They want to prove a point. Now, I want to show you an article breaking down the situation. All right. In it, it turns around and says, New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka arrested at ICE facility. The Democrat, let me repeat that, the Democrat, who was also running for governor, was involved in a scrum with 3 members of Congress seeking a tour of Delaney Hall. Goes on to say, the mayor of New Jersey's largest city and a Democratic candidate for governor was handcuffed and detained by federal officials on Friday at a protest of an ICE facility following a scrum involving 3 members of Congress seeking a tour of the facility. It was unclear if the mayor, Ras Baraka, was being formally arrested or exactly where he was after he was handcuffed Friday afternoon. And finally, it says the arrest followed a chaotic scene in the facility's parking lot involving protesters, federal law enforcement officers, and 3 members, Representatives Bonnie Watson Coleman, Bob Menendez, and LaMonica McIver at Delaney Hall. The Trump administration reopened the 1,000-bed facility this month to house migrants amid a lawsuit from the city against the private operator Geo Group, alleging it does not have the proper inspections and permits. Geo Group has denied that allegation. Now, interestingly enough, Bob Menendez, as you may obviously know, is not in good shape right now. My understanding is he's supposed to be self-surrendering, I don't know, within the next couple of days or weeks. Meanwhile, in other legal news, earlier this week, Trump's old nominee for D.C. U.S. Attorney, Ed Martin, well, he got cut. And who? Who did they end up now nominating for the D.C. U.S. Attorney? Yep, can't make this shit up. Judge Jeanine Pirro. Judge Jeanine to take his place. I mean, you're hearing me say that right. Fox News host, far-right winger Janine Piro. Here's Trump's post announcing this decision. In it, he turns around and he says, I am pleased to announce that Judge Jeanine Pirro will be appointed interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Janine was Assistant District Attorney for Westchester County, New York, and then went on to serve as County Judge and District Attorney, where she was the first woman ever to be elected to those positions. During her time in office, Janine was a powerful crusader for victims of crime. Her establishment of the Domestic Violence Bureau in her prosecutor's office was the first in the nation. She excelled in all ways. In addition to her legal career, Janine previously hosted her own Fox News show. Well, there's a credential for you. Justice with Judge Jeanine for 10 years, and is currently co-host of The Five, one of the highest rated shows on television. Janine is incredibly well qualified for this position and is considered one of the top district attorneys in the history of the state of New York. She is in a class by herself. Congratulations, Janine. Now, Ana Navarro was questioned why she wants the job. This is great. Play the clip.
I'm I'm rather surprised that she wants this job. It means that she's got to like lay herself naked, her financial stuff, her all sorts of things. She's got to answer. She's going to, this is a job where she's going to make a pittance in comparison to what she's been making at Fox. She's not going to be able to have 3 martini lunches. I'm just kind of like surprised by this entire thing.
It's interesting.
Yeah, listen, I don't blame her, right? I mean, this is going to be nothing but scrutiny upon scrutiny, right or wrong. That's what happens. I want to end by showing you 2 clips of Judge Jeanine from prior months. And the reason I want to show it to you is just basically to demonstrate how unhinged she can be. Now, if you remember, when Trump announced the pause of tariffs, there were accusations of stock manipulation. Here, play that clip first.
Okay, Jesse, they say it's stock manipulation. But how's it stock manipulation when Trump says at 9:17 in the morning, everybody buy, and it isn't until 4 hours later that he takes the pause?
I mean, Nancy.
Yeah, that's an answer. Lastly, I want to show you the other clip of what Judge Jeanine said about her 401k. Play that clip.
And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today. You know what? Not that I can afford it. Not that it isn't important. Not that I'm not at a point in my life when I should be worried about my 401k, because I am. But this is what I believe. I believe in this man. And I believe that what we're seeing now with his bringing in $1 trillion in business and manufacturing and companies moving back to the United States, and seeing what we saw during COVID when we couldn't, we had all those supply.
Yeah, when you saw dead bodies being lined up because there weren't enough ways within which to bury them quick enough. Stop it. And don't say you don't care about your 401k. You probably don't, because all your money is in stock and someplace else outside of your 401k. So, yeah, I get it. You've made more than enough as a Fox News junkie within which to ignore your 401k. But you know what the average American can't, Judge? All right? They just can't. And I'll tell you, it's why I keep saying it is so important for you to help me, to help us as a community to grow this as big as we possibly can. And as always, thanks for listening.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.